Hey everybody, Derek Gilman here today to discuss how to judge effects. So, my first tip on how to judge effects is always to make sure that when you're doing this judging that it's your first high of the day. Because otherwise, if you've smoked earlier on and you try and judge how something's really affecting you, you may still already have some of the effects of whatever you consumed earlier, or even perhaps that same strain that you consumed earlier. One of the first things you want to pay attention to is what's known as onset. Some cannabis will just get right on top of you. You take a hit, you take a couple hits, and before you've even gotten to that third hit, you're already starting to feel the effects. Other cannabis, as we all know, can sometimes have that creeper effect, and it doesn't hit you immediately. You smoke it, and you're 5-10 minutes in, and you're like, didn't really hit me that hard. But maybe 20 minutes after you've smoked it, those effects start coming on a little bit more. And that's known as the creeper effect, okay? The next thing you want to pay attention to is the intensity of these effects. Is it this intense head rush? Is it this crazy elevator ride that just skyrockets you up? Or maybe just draws you down real heavy? So after intensity, you want to pay attention to the duration of these effects. Did it last 20 minutes, a half hour before you're ready to go back and maybe hit some more? Did it last a couple of hours? That overall potency. And so if something, you just take a couple hits off of it and it lasts hours and hours, that was some pretty potent stuff. Type of effects you're feeling. Are you feeling high? Are you feeling up? Motivated? Cerebral? Creative perhaps? Okay, is this a stimulating effect that you're feeling? Okay, that's known as a high, as opposed to the stone. You get stoned, that's when you smoke that cannabis, indicas or indica hybrids typically, that bring you down. You get that couch lock effect. So pay attention to the finish of the effects as well, because some strains will take you up. They'll get you very high, but then after a while, that landing, it becomes a real hard landing. And as high as you went, you come back down hard too. Others, you'll smoke and they'll get you high, and then they just kind of wear off. Okay, it doesn't have that real hard crash landing. Did it give you the munchies? That's another thing to pay attention to when it comes to effects. Because not all cannabis gives you the munchies. There's actually certain cannabis that can actually arrest your appetite a little bit. Try that same strain at different times of the day, because depending on your body chemistry, your body's rhythms and its cycle, depending on how you were feeling that day, your mood, you will notice that the effects of the cannabis can sometimes vary. So look for some consistency on different times of the day to really kind of know what's going on with that cannabis. Well, I hope you learned something today on how to judge the effects of your flowers and your smoke. I'm Derek Gilman. Until next time, thanks for joining me.